The Gingerbread Man Who Learned to Listen. Once upon a time, in a little cottage at the edge of a cheerful village, there lived a kind old woman and a gentle old man who loved each other very much. They had shared many happy years together in their cozy home, tending their garden, baking fresh bread, and watching the seasons change through their kitchen window. Their cottage always smelled of cinnamon and sugar, and their hearts were always full of love. But there was one thing missing from their lives. They had no children to share their days with, no little voices calling them for supper, no small hands to help stir the cookie batter. One crisp autumn afternoon, as golden leaves danced past the windows and the air smelled of wood smoke and apples, the old woman decided to bake something special. She tied on her favorite apron, the one with little flowers embroidered on the pockets, and she said to her husband, "Today, I'm going to make us a little gingerbread man. We'll give him button eyes and a smile, and maybe, just for today, we can pretend we have a little one of our own." The old man smiled warmly at his wife and nodded. "That sounds wonderful, my dear," he said, settling into his rocking chair by the fire. "I'll keep the fire burning nice and steady for the baking." So the old woman gathered her ingredients with care. She measured out flour and brown sugar, rich molasses that poured like liquid amber, butter as yellow as sunshine, and all the warm spices, ginger and cinnamon, nutmeg and cloves, that make gingerbread smell like comfort and home. She mixed everything together in her big blue bowl, stirring with a wooden spoon until the dough was smooth and fragrant. Then she rolled it out on her flour-dusted table and carefully cut out the shape of a little man, no bigger than her hand. With loving attention, she gave him 2 raisin eyes that sparkled like they were looking right at you, 3 buttons down his front made from chocolate chips, and a curved line of white icing for a smile. She even gave him a little red icing bow tie because she thought he should look his best. When she was finished, she stepped back and looked at her creation with satisfaction. "There you are, my little gingerbread man," she whispered. "You're just perfect." She carefully placed him on a baking sheet and slid him into the warm oven. Then she sat down with her husband, and they waited, chatting quietly about their day while the delicious smell of baking gingerbread filled the cottage. The old woman set the kitchen timer so she would know exactly when to take the gingerbread man out, because she wanted him to be baked just right, golden brown and perfectly crispy around the edges. But something magical happened in that warm oven. Maybe it was the extra measure of love the old woman had stirred into the dough. Maybe it was the way the autumn sunlight slanted through the window and touched the oven door at just the right angle. Or maybe it was simply one of those rare and wonderful moments when something ordinary becomes extraordinary. Whatever the reason, as the gingerbread man baked, something inside him began to wake up. When the timer dinged and the old woman opened the oven door, the gingerbread man's raisin eyes blinked in the sudden light. His chocolate chip buttons gleamed, and before the old woman could even reach for her oven mitts, the gingerbread man jumped up from the baking sheet, leaped right over her outstretched hands, and landed on the kitchen floor with a tiny tap of his gingerbread feet. The old woman gasped in surprise. The old man jumped up from his rocking chair. They both stared at the little gingerbread man standing on their kitchen floor, looking as alive and real as any child they'd ever seen, except that he was made entirely of cookies and frosting. For just a moment, the gingerbread man looked around the cozy kitchen with wonder in his raisin eyes. He saw the old woman reaching toward him with gentle hands and the old man moving slowly toward the door to keep him from running out. And in that moment, something swelled up inside the gingerbread man's sugary chest. A feeling of excitement and power and absolute certainty that he was the cleverest, fastest, most amazing gingerbread man who had ever been baked. "Run, run, as fast as you can," he shouted in a voice that was bright and bold and maybe just a little bit too confident. "You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And with that, he darted between the old man's legs, zipped across the floor, squeezed through a crack under the door, and was out in the wide world before either of them could say another word. The old woman's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my!" she exclaimed. "Our gingerbread man is running away." The old man quickly grabbed his hat and his walking stick, and together they hurried out the door, calling, "Wait, little gingerbread man. Please wait. We won't hurt you. Come back." But the gingerbread man didn't wait. He felt the autumn breeze on his gingerbread face and the solid earth beneath his cookie feet, and he ran faster than he'd ever imagined possible. His little legs moved in a blur, and his heart, if a gingerbread man can be said to have a heart, pounded with excitement and pride. He had never felt so strong, so fast, so absolutely unstoppable. "They'll never catch me," he laughed to himself as he ran down the garden path. "I'm too quick, too clever, too wonderful." As he ran past the garden fence, he encountered a brown and white cow who was peacefully munching grass in the meadow. The cow looked up with her big, gentle eyes and called out, "Stop, little gingerbread man. You look delicious. Please stay for just a moment." But the gingerbread man didn't even slow down. He looked back over his shoulder and called out in his bold, bright voice, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. I ran away from a little old woman and a little old man, and I can run away from you too." And he laughed as he sped past the cow, who merely shook her head and went back to eating her grass, thinking that young ones these days were certainly full of themselves. The gingerbread man ran on, feeling more confident with every step. He ran through a field of stubbled corn where a horse was pulling a wagon. The horse, who was big and strong with a glossy coat, stopped his work and called out, "Whoa there, little fellow. Where are you going in such a hurry? Come here and let me get a better look at you. You smell wonderful." But the gingerbread man just ran faster, his little legs pumping, his icing smile stretched wide with pride. "Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. I ran away from a little old woman, a little old man, and a cow, and I can run away from you too." The horse snorted with amusement and went back to his work, thinking that the little gingerbread fellow was certainly sure of himself. On and on the gingerbread man ran, growing more and more convinced of his own cleverness and speed. He passed a whole barnyard full of chickens who clucked and flapped their wings, wanting to peck at his delicious-smelling cookie body. He zipped past a family of pigs who grunted and tried to follow him with their short legs. He even outran a dog who barked and chased him for half a mile before giving up, panting and tired. To each one, the gingerbread man called out the same proud words, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And each time he said it, he believed it a little more. He began to think that nothing in the whole world could catch him, that he was special and different and better than everyone else. His confidence grew so big that it started to become something else. Something that made him stop thinking carefully and stop listening to the wise little voice inside that might have warned him to be more careful. As the sun began to sink lower in the sky, painting everything in shades of orange and gold, the gingerbread man came to a wide river. The water flowed swift and deep, glittering in the afternoon light, and the gingerbread man stopped at the edge, suddenly uncertain. He had never seen a river before. He was made of cookies and icing, and he knew instinctively that if he tried to swim across, he would simply crumble and dissolve in the water. He looked back the way he had come and could see, far in the distance, the little old woman and the little old man still following, along with the cow, the horse, and several other animals, all hoping to catch up with him. For just a moment, a small flutter of doubt tickled the gingerbread man's heart. Maybe, he thought, I should turn back. Maybe I should listen to what they're trying to tell me. Maybe running away wasn't the smartest choice. But before he could make up his mind, a smooth, silky voice spoke from beside him. "Good afternoon, little gingerbread man. What seems to be the problem?" The gingerbread man turned and saw a fox sitting on a rock by the riverbank. The fox had beautiful red fur that gleamed like copper in the sunlight, clever dark eyes, and a long, bushy tail that he wrapped elegantly around his paws. "Oh, it's this river," the gingerbread man said, some of his earlier confidence returning now that he had someone to talk to. "I need to get across, but I can't swim. I'm trying to get away from all those people and animals who are chasing me." He puffed out his chest a little and added, "I'm the fastest gingerbread man in the whole world, you know? No one can catch me." The fox smiled, showing just the tips of his white teeth. "Is that so?" he said smoothly. "How impressive you must be. Well, I have good news for you, my speedy friend. I'm an excellent swimmer, and I'd be happy to help you across the river. You can ride on my back, and I'll carry you safely to the other side." The gingerbread man hesitated. Something about the fox's smile made him feel a tiny bit uncomfortable. But then he heard the voices of the people and animals getting closer, and his overconfidence took over once again. "Well," he said, standing up as tall as his gingerbread body would allow, "I suppose that would be acceptable. After all, I'm too clever to be caught, and you're offering to help me. Yes, I'll ride on your back." The fox's smile grew wider. "Wonderful," he said. "Just climb on, and we'll be off." The gingerbread man climbed onto the fox's back, right between his shoulder blades, and the fox waded into the river. The water was cool and deep, and it flowed strongly around them. As they moved farther from the shore, the water got deeper, and the fox said in that same smooth voice, "Oh dear, the water is getting rather high. You'd better climb up onto my head, little gingerbread man, so you don't get wet." The gingerbread man, feeling the spray of water coming closer, quickly climbed up onto the fox's head, right between his ears. But the water kept getting deeper, and soon the fox said again, My, this river is quite swift today. You'd better climb onto my nose, little friend, so you'll stay completely dry." The gingerbread man, now feeling a bit nervous but still sure that everything would be fine because he was so clever, climbed down onto the fox's long, pointed nose. And that was exactly where the fox wanted him. In one quick movement, the fox tossed his nose up into the air, opened his mouth wide, and snap! Caught the gingerbread man right in his jaws. The gingerbread man had just enough time to realize his mistake before everything went dark. But here is where our story takes a gentler turn than you might expect, because this is a tale with a lesson but also with kindness. Just as the fox was about to swallow, he heard a small, frightened voice from inside his mouth. "Please," the gingerbread man whispered, all his boasting and pride suddenly gone. "Please, I'm sorry. I was so busy being proud and confident that I didn't think. I didn't listen. I didn't use wisdom. Please, give me another chance." The fox, who was not really a bad fox but simply a hungry one doing what foxes do, paused. He had caught many meals before, but none of them had ever apologized or shown such genuine understanding of their mistake. Carefully, gently, he opened his mouth and let the gingerbread man roll out onto his tongue and then onto a nearby rock that jutted up from the middle of the river. The gingerbread man sat there, wet and frightened and very, very humble. His icing bow tie was smudged, and one of his chocolate chip buttons had washed away, but he was alive and whole. He looked up at the fox with his raisin eyes full of tears. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You didn't have to do that." The fox regarded him thoughtfully. "No, I didn't," he agreed. "But I think you learned something important today. Didn't you, little gingerbread man?" The gingerbread man nodded slowly. "I did," he said. "I learned that being fast and clever isn't the same as being wise. I was so confident in myself that I didn't think about consequences. I didn't listen to the people who cared about me. I didn't stop to think that maybe someone could be smarter than me, or that I might need help, or that my confidence could lead me into danger." The fox smiled, and this time it was a kind smile, not a hungry one. "That's a very important lesson," he said. "Confidence is a good thing when it's balanced with wisdom and humility. But overconfidence, thinking you're better or smarter than everyone else, can lead you into trouble every time." Just then, the little old woman and the little old man appeared on the riverbank, followed by the cow, the horse, and all the other animals. They had been searching for the gingerbread man all afternoon, worried about him, hoping he was safe. When they saw him sitting on the rock in the middle of the river, looking small and sorry and very much in need of help, the old woman called out, "Hold on, dear one, we'll get you." The fox, true to his newfound kindness, carefully picked up the gingerbread man in his mouth, very gently this time, and swam back to the shore, placing him on the ground right in front of the old woman and old man. The gingerbread man looked up at them, and all his earlier boasting was gone. "I'm sorry," he said in a small voice. "I ran away when I should have listened. I thought I was too special to need anyone, too fast to be caught, too clever to make mistakes. But I was wrong. The old woman knelt down and scooped him up in her warm, wrinkled hands. Tears of relief shone in her eyes. "Oh, my sweet little gingerbread man," she said softly. "We're just glad you're safe. Everyone makes mistakes, especially when they're new to the world. The important thing is that you learned from this adventure." The old man patted the fox on his head. "Thank you, friend, for showing mercy and teaching him a valuable lesson." The fox nodded graciously and, with a swish of his bushy tail, trotted off into the forest, feeling rather good about himself for having done the right thing. The old woman and the old man carried the gingerbread man back to their cottage, and all the animals walked along with them, glad that the little fellow was safe. When they got home, the old woman carefully patched the gingerbread man's smudged icing and replaced his missing button. She set him on a soft cushion by the fire, and they all sat together, talking about the day's adventure. "You know," the gingerbread man said thoughtfully as the firelight danced on the walls, "I spent the whole day shouting about how fast I could run and how no one could catch me, but I never stopped to think about where I was running to, or why I was running away from people who loved me, or whether I might need help along the way." The old woman smiled and stroked his gingerbread head gently. "That's because you were overconfident, dear one. You let your pride and excitement cloud your judgment. It's wonderful to feel capable and strong, but it's wise to remember that we all need others sometimes, and that listening to good advice can save us from danger." The gingerbread man nodded. "I think," he said slowly, "that real confidence isn't about thinking you're better than everyone else. Real confidence is knowing your strengths but also knowing your limits. It's being brave enough to try new things but wise enough to listen when others offer help or warning." "Exactly right," the old man said, settling into his rocking chair with a contented sigh. "You've learned in one day what some people take a lifetime to understand. Confidence is good. Overconfidence is dangerous. And humility, knowing that you don't have all the answers, is a gift that will serve you well for the rest of your days." From that day forward, the gingerbread man lived happily with the old woman and the old man in their cozy cottage. He never ran away again, though he did enjoy taking walks through the garden and playing with the animals in the barnyard. But now, when he went on his adventures, he listened to advice, thought before he acted, and never let pride convince him that he was too clever to need help or guidance. He became known throughout the village as the wise little gingerbread man, and young ones would often come to him for advice. And he would tell them his story about the day he ran away, about the fox by the river, and about the important lesson he learned. "Be confident," he would say, "but never overconfident. Trust in your abilities, but also trust in the wisdom of those who care about you. And remember that the smartest people are the ones who know they still have things to learn." And so the gingerbread man lived a long and happy life, surrounded by love and friendship, his heart full of gratitude for the second chance he'd been given and the wisdom he'd gained. He never forgot that autumn day when his pride nearly cost him everything, and he spent the rest of his days making sure that his confidence was always balanced with humility, his courage with caution, and his independence with the willingness to accept help and love from others. And if you ever find yourself feeling a little too sure that you can't make mistakes, a little too confident that you don't need anyone else, just remember the gingerbread man and the fox by the river, and let a little wisdom season your courage.